Now we'll move on to the next topic, Trojan horse. Actually, Trojan horse is similar to that worms and viruses only. Trojan horse is a program that appears harmless, such as text editor or utility program, but actually perform malicious functions such as deleting or damaging files. Actually, Trojan horse will be like a normal text editor or utility program like some software, but it will be performing some malicious functions such as deleting or editing or damaging the files. With the help of this Trojan horse, the hackers that could be done by hacking on a target computer system. Actually this Trojan horse will be supporting for the hackers to hack the information and misuse that information. How that hacking will support, how that Trojan horse will support for performing hacking. First thing is data theft. That is, data will be theft by the thief, that is by the hacker. They'll be taking the data and they'll be misused. And then they'll be that is Trojan horse will be installing unwanted software and they'll be trace overing all our thing. And then keystroke login, like whatever key we are pressing inside our keyboard, it will be recorded and it will be used by somebody else later on after we completed our work. And then unnecessary files will be downloaded and it will be uploading many contents, like such kind of things will happen if a Trojan horse is, this is one of the Trojan horse. Like it will be like a normal software, it will be trace overing our information and it will be misused later. This is one of the Trojan horse. So such kind of virus will will perform some malicious function. How to prevent this Trojan horse and how to come out of that? Actually we need to install security software and we need to update that security software regularly. And then we should not download any software or any other else without proper website. And then if we are using public computer, we need to check for all the security things, like it may actually in that system some keyboard login is working or something will happen. So we need to ensure that apart from our use applications, nothing should be run behind of our process. As well as instead of using normal keyboard, we can use virtual keyboard if keyboard loginer is on. So such kind of things. Just imagine we are using a keyboard and if we are typing user ID and password, with the help of keyboard loginer we can trace over what is the key typed in that keyboard very clearly. So later on they'll be using our accounts or bank accounts or something else, user ID and password will be used later. So to overcome these problems, we can use virtual keyboard. Without touching the keyboard, we can use our screen and we can operate it. And then next, that is one of the preventive measure of using our computer properly without getting affection of Trojan horse. Then I hope you'll be understanding what is Trojan horse and how it will be entered, how to prevent from this. So antivirus software is very very important. Next we'll move on to the next topic, spam. Spam means if somebody is sending a bulk mail with identification or without identification, then it will be called as spam. It is not a malicious form, but it will be like spam will be like a bulk advertisement mail or some mail sent to many accounts. It's not like single account, it will be sending to many accounts in malicious form. That is, the attackers keeps on sending bulk mail until the mail server runs out, keeps on runs out of disk space. Actually, it will be keep on sending unnecessary mails until the disk space of that mail will get over. So that is only spam. Spam is not a non-malicious program or malicious form, non-malicious form. Actually, spam will like spam is an unwanted junk mail. It will be keep on sending to a particular mail ID, and then it will be, this process will be keep on repeating until the mail server memory is getting filled. And then damages caused by this spam reduces protectivity. That is, billions of spam messages circulating across the internet can disturb email delivery, degrade system performance, and reduce overall protectivity. And then next, spam eats up your times. Deleting spam emails like the simple solution, but it eats significant amount of productivity. Just think of, there is no alternate way of completing this process, that is overcome the spam. Either we can filter our mail by setting which are the mails are important. By giving that, we can protect it. Then next prevention is like we have to delete that spam mails, but it will be taking long time to delete all the spam mails. Then next, spam can lead to worse things. The spam messages may contain that is official information, and this can be spam messages may contain official that is, the spam may lead to fraud process. These are the things of spam. Let me repeat it one more time. Spam is a unwanted junk mail. It will be sending with identification or without identification source. It is non-malicious form. Bulk advertising mail is sent to many accounts in malicious form. The attackers keeps on sending bulk mail until the mail server runs out of the disk space. The damages are: spam reduces productivity. Billions of spam messages circulating across the internet can disturb email delivery, degrade system performance, and reduce overall productivity. Spam eats our time. If we are receiving lot of junk mails, we need to sit and delete all those mails. That is time consuming, so it will be eating our time, and then system can lead to worse things. That spam messages may contain like official fraudulent materials, and can send to somebody else. So this is only spam. I hope you will be understanding what is virus. We have seen this topic in previous class, that is what is virus, what are the damages of virus, and how to overcome the preventive measures of virus. Next, worm self-replication, and then how to what are the damages and how to prevent it. We have discussed this already. Spam worm I said already, it will be eating our memory space. It can be prevented by installing a perfect antivirus software. Next one is Trojan horse. It is like a malicious program. It will be looking like text editor or utility program. Actually, it will be deleting or damaging the existing files. Hacker will use this Trojan horse software to trace over all the information, and we need to prevention for the system. We need to install a total security software, and we need to upgrade it regularly, and we need to ensure if we are using outside public PC, we have to be very careful with using everything. Next, spam, unwanted junk mail. Now we have discussed what are the preventive measures and how to face with the spam. These are the threats of network security. Now we'll move on to the cookie. Next, very important concept, that is cookie, also known as web cookie or browser cookie. Cookie is also known as a web cookie or browser cookie. Actually, it is a small piece of data sent from website. Whenever if you are opening any URL, like if you are entering www.rd.school, if you are giving and if you are pressing enter key, our website will be opened. Meantime, one cookie will be created, one text document will be created, and in that text document some set of information, some set of piece of data will be stored, which will be sent from the web server, that is website, and then it will be storing and it is stored in user web browser while a user is browsing a website. Whenever we are browsing any website, automatically one text document will be created and it will be stored in our web browser. Some cookie will disappear after whenever we are closing the browser automatically, like if we are using https://rd.school, until we are working with that website, that cookie will be maintained properly. Once if we are closing the browser, automatically that cookie text file will be deleted. This is one kind of cookie. Remaining will be like it will be saved, and it will be like it will be used for some other purpose. Some cookies will be remain saved. This such kind of cookies will be called as tracking cookies. Some cookies will be closed or deleted whenever we are completing all the accessing of website, and if we are closing a browser window, automatically that cookie also will be deleted. Some cookies will be remain saved until a particular time is getting over. Such kind of cookies will be called as tracking cookies. Tracking cookies remain saved, and it will be loaded whenever user is using the website next time. Actually, cookies will be used to get our information very fastly, and we can perform our opening browser or opening website easily. Very fast process can be done with the help of cookies. That only that information will be stored in the cookie. I hope you will be understanding. Cookie help the website to store information about the visitors, like username, password, and other details also. So cookies will be maintaining the information whatever we are doing with the website. And then cookie help us to track user browsing session and load information faster, but create some security and privacy concern as well. These security and privacy concerns are session data. It will be maintaining session data. When we visit any website on regular basis, we may not have to enter username and password to get in. I hope you would have seen it will be asking do you want to remember user ID and password, and never. Whenever we are logging into something, if I give save, automatically the data will be saved permanently in our cookie. So whenever I am entering website, automatically that user ID and password will be taken from the cookie and it will be used. So often if I am using a certain website with some user ID and password, by default that user ID and password will be stored permanently in a cookie. That's because that information is being pulled from tracking cookie. Default, if I'm using, if without saving those information, if I'm working with a cookie, the data will be stored in a temporary cookie. But if I'm giving some remember or save, automatically the data will be stored in tracking cookie. So these cookies stores information in encrypted form, but if somebody gets the encryption key, he could discover your password. Actually, the tracking cookie will have the data in the form of encrypted form, but some hackers, if they are hacking the encrypted code, encryption key, then automatically that data will be decrypted and it will be used. That is, data like password will be decrypted and that password will be used. That is one thing. The next thing is tracking information. When you visit a certain website with advertisements, you just imagine you are visiting a certain website with advertisement. Those ads create cookies and that store and track your online pattern. Like if you are seeing some advertisement, that advertisement also will create a cookie in your system and it will be tracking online pattern. You may notice that if you go to clothing stores website, for example, you'll be seeing ads from the store. When you click away to other websites, that's become tracking cookies have relayed this information back to advertisement who use to target their ads. I hope you will be understanding. If you are working with some website, just imagine you are using a clothing website. After browsing all those things, when you click away to the other website, that's become tracking cookies. Automatically you will be seeing some pop-up menu or some advertisement. If you click on it, automatically inside your computer some tracking cookies will be created and it will be tracking all those things. If you did not delete the cookie and if you are sign out or if you come out of your system, if some other user is sitting with your system, automatically they also will trace over your information, whatever process you have done with the computer. So whenever you are going for public computer, ensure that if you are browsing something, those information will be stored in the cookies. So once if you terminated that system and if you come out of the system, if somebody else is going to use that system, they'll be getting all the details with the help of this tracking cookie. So ensure that if you're using public computer, you must delete the cookies before coming out of that particular system. So these are the things, preventive measures you have to be careful with the cookie. Cookie is a text document, is a text document which will be having all the information about whatever the thing we are doing with the website. That is only cookies. Now we'll move on to the next topic, firewall. I hope we'll be understanding all these threads as well as cookies also. Next, preventive measures, we have seen lot of things. So firewall is one of the network security thing. Actually, firewall is a technique used in secured computer system or network to block unauthorized access and allow only authorized user. Firewall is one of the technique which will be securing our computer by blocking unauthorized user and allowing authorized user. Actually, firewall can be implemented in either in two forms, either in it may be in hardware or software, or combination of both software and hardware can be used. Actually, if it is a hardware, we'll be placing a device and will be protecting or will be implementing network security concept. If it is software, we'll be installing that software in our computer and it will be running everywhere to overcome the problem of threats, network security threats. So firewall is one of the best method to overcome these problems. Firewall is a technique used in secure computer system or network to block unauthorized access. Next we'll move on how this hardware firewall and software firewall will be. Actually, firewall softwares are frequently used to prevent unauthorized internet users from accessing private networks connected to the internet, especially in intranet. Firewall software frequently used to prevent unauthorized internet users from accessing private networks connected to the internet, especially intranets. And then if it is hardware firewall, it is a physical piece of equipment designed to perform firewall duties. It may be actually be another computer or dedicated devices of equipment which serve as a firewall. Actually, hardware firewall will be placing a device dedicatedly for performing this network security, or will be placing a computer to perform this process. That is only hardware firewall. If it is a software firewall, all messages entering or leaving the intranet pass through the firewall, which examines each message and blocks those that do not meet the specified security criteria. Each and everything will be verified whether it is a perfect criteria things are satisfied before sending into the network. If it is hardware firewall keeps on malevolent hackers and people who intend to do damage and take over other people's servers. It could also provide protection of network security. This is the difference between hardware and software firewall. Now I hope you will be understanding what is firewall. This topic already we have discussed in 11th standard. I hope you will be remembering. Next we'll move on to the next topic, HTTPS, Hypertext Transfer Protocol with Secure. Is an internet communication protocol that protects the integrity and confidentiality of the data between the user computer and the site. Actually, wherever we have a website starting with HTTPS, you can consider that website is a website with secure data. User expect a secure and private online experience when using a website. If it is like that, then we can be very lethargic to use that website, because that data will be very secure. We can encourage to adopt HTTPS in order to protect your user connections to your website regardless the content on the site. If it is HTTPS, the data sent using HTTPS is secured via Transport Layer Security Protocol, TLS, Transport Layer Security Protocol, which provides 3 key layers of protection: encryption, data integrity, and authentication. If it is encryption, encrypting the exchanged data to keep it secure from eavesdroppers. That means that while the user is browsing a website, nobody can listen to the conversation, track their activities across multiple pages, or steal their information. That is only encryption, because that data will not be understood by anyone. It will be converted from simple format into unknown format. So this is one of the protection of our HTTPS. Next one is data integrity. The data cannot be modified or changed during transferring of data, and intentionally or otherwise without being detected. And then next one, authentication. It will be providing some user ID and password. With the help of that, we can prevent our data. See, look at this. Whenever, if I'm going to ICICI Bank, you can find out HTTPS at the time of going for internet banking. So before entering user ID and password, automatically HTTPS will be enabled. It is Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. So if at the time of getting HTTPS, and if you are entering data, that is if you are entering user ID and password, temporary cookie will be created, will not have tracking cookie. So need not worry about our security. So to implement the security concept only, we are using this HTTPS. I hope you'll be understanding what is this HTTPS, Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. It is very, very important. Next we'll move on to the next topic, that is our Indian IT Act. Before entering into this, if all such kind of issues are happening, how to come out of this issue? We'll be having lot of acts in the sense laws to give punishment for the
misuse of all those things. Now, Indian IT Act 2000 is an act of Indian Parliament number 21 of 2000, notified on 17th October 2000. It is the primary law in India dealing with cybercrime and electronic commerce. Indian IT Act 2000 was introduced in the year of 17th October 2000. It is the primary law in India dealing with cybercrime. Cybercrime in the sense computer related crimes and electronic commerce. The original act contained 94 sections. There are 94 sections in this Indian IT Act, and it is divided into 13 chapters and 4 schedules. The law applied to the whole of India. Actually, this Indian IT Act is a big thing. It will have 94 sections and it is divided into 13 chapters and 4 schedules. The law applied to the whole of India. The persons of other nationalities can also be indicated under the law if the crime involves a computer or network located in India. Even if foreigners accessing our computer and if they are misusing it, they also will come under the category of Indian IT Act, and they are also will be getting some punishment through our Indian Act. The next common section under IT Act are 67A. This is publishing images contain sexual acts. If any images, if we are publishing related to sexual acts, then the section will be 67A. Penalty will be like imprisonments up to 7 years. A particular person will be kept inside the prison for 7 years and fine of 10 lakhs will be 10 lakhs will be collected. And the next 67B, child pornography, 5 to 7 years punishment, and then fine will be the same 10 lakhs. Next one is 70, it is securing, accessing and attempting to secure access to protect protected data. It will be 10 years or fine will be collected. These are the simple sample acts. And the next one is IT Act amendments. A major amendment was made to the IT Act in 2018. Amendment in the sense small corrections and extension. Like IT Act in 2008, it was happened. It introduced 66A, which penalized sending of offensive messages. It also introduced Section 69, which gave authorities the power of interception or monitoring or decryption of any information through any computer resources. The act was passed in December 2008 and came in force in October 2009. And the next cyber law, I hope you will be understanding IT Act. Next, cyber law. Cyber law is a part of overall legal system that deals with the internet, cyberspace and their respective legal issues. Cyber law covers a fairly broad area encompassing several subtopics including freedom of expression, access to and usage of internet and online privacy. Cyber laws will have a laws and we must follow certain laws to access our computer or internet. Generally, cyber law is referred to as a law of internet. Law of internet. I hope you'll be understanding. Cyber law is referred to as law of internet. Cyber law is also called IT law, is the law regarding information technology including computer and network. Cyber law is a law which is dealing with the computer and internet. The importance of cyber law is it covers all transaction over internet and it keeps eyes on all the activities over internet. That is only cyber law. The areas of cyber law is fraud, copyright, defamation, harassment and stalking, freedom of speech, trade secrets, contracts, and employment law. Whomever is using this, certain laws will be followed, and they'll be getting punishment based upon this. This it is a Actually, cyber law is any criminal offense that is facilitated by or involves use of electronic communication of information system, including any electronic devices, computer or internet. It involves the terms like phishing, credit cards frauds, illegal downloading, industrial espionage, child pornography, cyber bullying, cyber stalking, cyber terrorism, creation or disturbance of viruses, spam, and so on. These are the cyber crimes. Examples of cyber crimes: cyber trolls and bullying. Actually, it is like a person who purposely post opposing some uh, what is it unwanted comments about something or someone with the aim of targeting a person online. The provocative messages posted this way are also called as trolls. It is a cyber crime and it is a form of cyberbullying. I hope you will be understanding. Cyber trollers, if somebody is posting some bad comment about somebody else, then it will be called as cyber trolling, and it is also known as it is one of the cyber crime, so it is called cyber bullying. Next, cyber bullying, like harassing, demeaning, embarrassing, defaming, or in, intimidating someone using modern technologies like internet, cell phones, insta messengers, social networks, etc. is called cyberbullying. Cyber stalking, it is a kind of online harassment wherein the victim is subjected to barrage of online messages and emails. Typically, these stalkers know their victims instead of resorting to offline stalking. They use their internet to stalk, etc. Then next, reporting cybercrime. If any cybercrime happens, one must report first to the parents, school, authorized, and then to the police. The local police station can be approached for filling complaints, just as cybercrime cells, cybercrime cells, especially designation with the justification to register complaint. In addition, provisions have now been made for filling of EFIR, electronic FIR, in most of the states. In addition, the Ministry of Home Affairs is also launching a website for regarding this cybercrime. We can register in that against women and children online, including cyber crimes. I hope you'll be understanding what is cybercrime, how to overcome this, where to report about the cybercrime. Next, we'll move on to the next one, IPR issues. It is refers to intellectual property rights. IPR is intellectual property rights. It refers to something owner has legal rights. This term become popular in context of computer ethics. Intellectual property refers to creation of intellectual inventions, literacy and artistic work, symbols, names, images, and design used in commerce or a part of it. It is divided into two categories: industrial property and copyright. Industrial property, it includes invention, trademark, designs, commercial names, etc. Copyright includes literacy and artistic works such as novel, poems, film, story, drawing, painting, photograph. It is a legal concept enacted by most governments and giving the permission to use particular thing. I hope you will be understanding what is intellectual property rights. will be like if I'm designing something, I'll be getting a copyright of. If I'm implementing, if I'm designing my own logo, I can approach a government and I can get a copyright of that logo. That logo cannot be used by somebody else for their purpose. Only I must use, and I have like authority from the, I will be getting permission from the government stating that my product is a very good and effective product. Next one is hacking. Tomorrow's class will be seeing this hacking concept. Today's class, that's all over. I hope you will be understanding. Today's homework is you just make a note of what are the cyber crimes happening inside our network. List out few cyber crimes, and what are the HTTPS based websites. List out any 10 HTTPS based website, and what is the difference between HTTPS website and HTTP website. These are the homework questions. Just make a note in your observation itself, and then let me check later on whenever I'm going to check your observation. Thank you so much.